Bandersnatch is the latest entry in the Black Mirror universe. Before I talk about why this film doesn't work, I should say that Bandersnatch is by no means unwatchable or unworthy of your time. As an interactive film that invites the audience to make choices on behalf of its protagonist, Bandersnatch pushes the very limits of what a movie can do. We are used to films that ask us to sit back and enjoy the ride, that like to hold our hands and guide us through the story all the way to a predetermined conclusion. Bandersnatch instead wants us to lean in and actively shape where the story goes.
But there's myriad sort of timelines and story branches you can go down.
This is nothing short of path-breaking. We should not expect radical experiments like this to be without their faults. However, I believe that Bandersnatch is worse than it has to be. As I watched and rewatched the film, I realized that the movie was consistently making not one or two, but three fundamental errors. So let's just jump in. The first problem with Bandersnatch is that the choices are unreal. Consider this choice, for example. Notice that this is only a choice at a very superficial level. Beyond the immediate distinction in action and movement, there is no meaningful variation at the level of Stefan's motivations. If you throw tea at a computer, you are a moody teenager, and if you shout at your dad after he invites you for lunch, you are still a moody teenager. If you choose to throw tea at the computer, you will find out that the computer, and by extension the game Bandersnatch, cannot be destroyed. Thus, this fork in the road has only been put here to reveal something about the plot and nothing about the character's psyche. For comparison, check out the scene from The Dark Knight.
Come on, I want you to do it, I want you to do it. Come on! Come on, I want you to do it, I want you to do it. Come on, hit me, hit me, come on, hit me! Ah!
The choice here, will Batman kill Joker or not, affects both the story that will follow and our understanding of Batman's personality. The Batman who kills Joker and the Batman who refuses to, despite the temptations, are two very different people. In contrast, Bandersnatch offers a range of shallow choices that never create the tension of a real trade-off. Whether Stefan throws tea at the computer or destroys it, whether he karate chops his dad or goes for his balls, and whether he lashes out at the desk or at the computer, our understanding of him remains the same. This lack of richer alternatives makes its format little more than a gimmick. The second problem with Bandersnatch is that the audience's choices cannot be informed by the character's mindset or history because neither is sufficiently explored. For example, consider this choice.
One of us is jumping. So who's it going to be?
Up till this point, we know nothing of Stefan's suicidal tendencies. As far as we know, he likes his life. Further, because of an earlier scene, we know that Stefan idealizes Colin. Stefan therefore has no reason for jumping himself or making Colin jump. The audience hasn't been shown anything that might tilt its preferences one way or another. In contrast, consider a scene from Marvel's Infinity War where Star-Lord learns that Thanos has killed his lover Gamora.
He took her to Vormir. He came back with the Soul Stone. Then she did it.
Okay, Quill, you gotta cool it right now. You understand? Don't engage. We almost got this off!
Tell me she's lying.
Asshole! Tell me you didn't do it! Oh, you didn't.
Now, Star-Lord's options are: that is, he has to choose whether to give in to his rage and risk letting loose a monster or resist it and leave his desire for instant revenge unquenched. There is real tension in this choice, and we understand why Star-Lord's rage gets the better of him. We sympathize with him because we know how difficult it is to do the right thing in the face of heartbreak. This is an example of a fork in the road moment in film that is meaningful and genuinely tantalizing because we know the history and the character psychology that bears upon the choice. The protagonist in Bandersnatch, on the other hand, is too much of a blank slate. Hell, we even choose what cereal Stefan will have for breakfast. Without a relevant backstory, it is difficult for us to be invested in the dilemmas that Stefan is presented with. The third problem with Bandersnatch is that the choices are reversible. Now, real life is, of course, irreversible. The greatest moments of our youth cannot be relived except through memories, photographs, and videos. The worst decisions cannot be unmade, and we are stuck with the choices we have made. Moreover, this might be for the good. Knowing that we won't get something back gives us reason to treat it with respect. Knowing that we can't rewind life forces us to pay attention to what goes down. Knowing that we only live once is a powerful incentive to put our best foot forward. Now, one of the reasons we watch film is for its verisimilitude, for the ways in which it can mimic the logic as well as the subjective experience of living. If life is about living with the consequences of our actions, then movies can't shirk from this fact. And in general, movies don't. Bandersnatch, however, does. You can go back and choose differently. It's like having an undo button on command. There's something frustratingly unrelatable about a story that doesn't have the snowballing quality of life, where the chickens, so to speak, don't come home to roost. A choice becomes less important if it can be easily rolled back. Choosing a life partner and picking a profession are among the most significant choices we make because we cannot reverse them without soul-crushing hassle. Ordering a book from Amazon, on the other hand, hardly gives anyone a headache because you can always return the book. Bandersnatch then devalues the currency of its own choices by making them so easily reversible. The problem is not limited to Bandersnatch, but to any interactive film that allows the audience to go back. Of course, there is a conundrum here. On one hand, the whole point of an interactive film is to experience the story in multiple different ways. On the other hand, it becomes difficult, if not impossible, for the audience to stay invested without real consequences, and consequences that can be rolled back with a click or unreal. How filmmakers deal with this challenge remains to be seen. Thank you everyone for watching. I truly appreciate it. I will be uploading about 25 video essays in 2019. So please click on the subscribe button below. You can support me on Patreon. The link for that is in the description. Again, thank you for watching and I hope to see you again.